I suggested we open the marriage on a Tuesday because I wanted to sound thoughtful, not impulsive. Tuesday is an errand day. It felt like the kind of day you could rearrange a life on without breaking it. We're great, I told Omar, frosting on my voice to hide the crack in the middle. I just think we're stuck. Maybe a little adventure would make us better. He looked up from the pan he was drying. He always dries as he goes. Says future us deserve clean counters. Adventure, he repeated, not unkind. Like a trip? More like an agreement. I had spent 2 weeks in podcasts and forums, learning terms like ethical non-monogamy and compersion, and I tried to say them like I hadn't practiced. Rules. Honesty. No lies. It could take some pressure off us. What I did not say. I'd been flirting with a photographer named Alex after my Saturday yoga class. It was nothing. Messages that glowed a little longer than they should. A smile that stayed with me through the week. But the glow made my house look dim by comparison, and I hated myself for that. I thought if I made the dimness a project, it would look less like a failure. We wrote rules at the kitchen island under the ugly overhead light, because pretty light lies. No mutual friends. No coworkers. Condoms always. No sleepovers on weeknights. Home by midnight. Calendar transparency. If either of us felt weird, pause. We don't fall in love, I said, smiling like it was a joke. Omar didn't laugh. We tell the truth, he said, and tapped the paper with the pen, twice, like a promise. For the first month, it was mostly spreadsheets and nerves. I went to coffee with Alex, and his charm shrank under daylight. He loved his own reflection in the espresso machine more than he'd ever loved me. I deleted his thread and told myself that counted as growth. Omar, who had blinked slowly at my proposal like a man reading a contract, joined an app and wrote a profile so gentle it sounded like a safety manual. Married, he wrote. Practicing honesty. Looking for something kind. Then he met Elise. I saw it in the way he moved around the house. Lighter at the edges. He'd always been solid, our gravitational constant. Suddenly he hummed while chopping onions. He asked about my day and remembered the answers. He started wearing the good cologne on Thursdays and checking his hair in the hallway mirror like a man with news. Elise, he said that first Saturday afternoon, testing the name in the kitchen like you test a pan before pouring batter. Bookstore near the park. Makes terrible coffee and perfect sentences. Cute, I said, light. I actually meant it. I wanted the thing I'd asked for to be a success, otherwise I was the fool who opened a door to nowhere. He followed the rules like an engineer. Calendar blocks labeled drinks E and walk E. Home by midnight. Condoms in the front pocket of his overnight bag, so there's no confusion. He washed the bag the next morning like a man disinfecting a wound, and then sat on the couch with me, shoulder to shoulder, our feet touching, our phones face down. I told myself we were better. We were telling the truth. Then in mid-May, I found the jewelry receipt. It wasn't dramatic. I was looking for the warranty on our blender in the drawer with the manuals when a folded slip fell free. Saphir pendant, 14K, $419. My mouth went dry in a way that made me realize I had never considered Omar a man who bought jewelry for anyone. I tried to remember the last time he had bought me jewelry that wasn't a birthday charm from Target between calls. He hadn't needed to. I wasn't a jewelry person. I told myself that as a spell. I waited until he got home, tried to be brave enough to be casual. Who's the sapphire for? He didn't lie. He didn't stutter. Elise, he said, and exhaled like the truth cost less to carry. Her birthday's next week. A small thing. Small. A necklace you clasp behind a person's neck is not small. It's hands in a prayer behind someone else's heart. We don't do gifts, I said, even though we had never written no gifts. I reached for rules like they were guardrails and found air. That wasn't a rule, he said, quiet. We said honesty would be. I told myself to breathe. I told myself, Elise is a real person with a birthday, not the villain in your made-for-you hurt. I told myself a lot of things and none of them sounded like me. 2 weeks later, he missed our anniversary dinner. We have a spot downtown with light that makes everyone better looking and a waiter who knows Omar likes the lamb rare, to respect the animal. I booked it a month out. I laid the blue dress out in the afternoon like a promise. At 6, Omar texted, running behind. Can we push to 7:30? At 7:20, I'm sorry. Work crisis. Don't wait. I'll pick up dessert. He walked in at 9:05. Hair windswept, shirt changed, not smelling like work. He set a box from a bakery on the counter and a grocery store bouquet next to it like he could place correctives on the island, and they'd rearrange the night as it should have been. Where were you? I asked, careful because careful sometimes wins what loud never will. Elise had a reading, he said. At the bookstore. I wanted to be there. Then a client called, and you were with her on our anniversary. He didn't deny. He only said, you opened the door. How quickly a sentence you chose can turn into a cage. Guest room tonight, I said, because if I could control nothing else, I could put his body in the room down the hall and make the space between us visible. He nodded, set the cake on a plate, lit a candle, and pushed it toward me like a pity sun. I let it burn out untouched. We tried to recalibrate. We added rule after rule in late-night edits, as if enough bullet points could make desire obey. No dates within 3 days of our anniversary. One weekend night a week reserved for us. No gifts over $50. No meeting families. No inside jokes at home. The rules got smaller and more desperate until they were less about ethics and more about how to survive being second. Elise did the thing we said we wouldn't do. She got bigger. She asked good questions in the dark, and Omar, who believes in answers, brought her maps and flashlights and water. He isn't a liar. He isn't a cheater anymore. He did exactly what I said we should do and loved 2 people as honestly as he knew how. I was the one pretending honesty could keep the weather gentle. One night in June I woke at 2:10 a.m. to the quiet, and the quiet was wrong. I checked the guest room. It was empty. Omar was on the balcony in a hoodie looking at nothing. I'm in love with her, he said, the way some people say the test is positive. Not happy. Not ashamed. Just true, a reality you can't vote down. I had wanted so badly to be the kind of woman who could hear that sentence and walk around it like art I didn't understand yet. Instead, I folded at the waist like I'd been punched because I had been, by my own bravado. Close it, I said. The marriage. Close it. He nodded slowly, sorry and intact. I can't, he said. Not without losing her. And I won't lie to her and say I'm choosing without still being in love. If I close it for you while my heart is somewhere else, I'm not choosing you. I'm pretending for you. That's how he wins. He refuses theater where the truth will do. We tried counseling. Patrice. Same counselor friends swore by, the one with a soft cardigan and a hard metronome in her questions. Asked the only one that mattered. Did you open to explore, or did you open to avoid? I wanted to fix us without doing the surgery, I admitted. I wanted to be brave without moving any furniture. To be clear, Patrice said to both of us, open can work. So can monogamy. Neither will work as anesthesia for a different operation. We wrote 2 plans. Plan A, close slowly with a timeline. Omar would taper contact with Elise. We'd rebuild intimacy in ordinary ways. We'd let grief pass through like weather. Plan B, separate with kindness. 2 apartments within 10 minutes of each other. Alternate weekends for the dog. Sell the house in fall when the market is less miserable. No checking in except logistics. No last time rituals that turn forward motion into a souvenir stall. He cried when we read Plan A out loud. So did I. Then he looked at the paper, looked at his hands, looked at me. I can't do Plan A without turning you into the consolation prize, he said. I won't do that to you. We chose Plan B. He moved into the guest room for real while we found leases. He didn't take the big TV or the espresso machine even though he loves both more than I do. He took his tools and the vinyl he collected before me. He left the cast iron because he knows I finally learned to respect a pan. He packed the sapphire receipt with his tax folder because he keeps everything candid. He labeled the box 2018 to 2025 house, and the precision of the dash made my chest ache. On his last night in the house, he sat at the island and ran a finger along the groove in the wood where a wine opener slipped last year. We had a good marriage, he said, not to cheapen it. We told the truth when it mattered, except once at the beginning, when the truth was we needed help, not novelty. He hugged me like an ending that doesn't need a soundtrack. He moved out the next morning, texted the address of his new place, and then, because he knows my mother, texted her as well to say he would continue to pick up baklava for Eid, just at a different door. I've stopped saying I lost him. I didn't misplace a set of keys. I proposed a theory of love with too many variables and pretended the math would do itself. He solved the equation and refused to round down the answer. People want villains. There aren't any. There is a man who loved me well, and then loved someone else without lying. There is a woman who thought she could trick grief with vocabulary. There is a necklace that isn't mine and a cake that never got eaten and a guest room that taught me how far a hallway can be. If anyone asks for advice, I only have this. Whatever boat you're in, don't drill holes to see if it floats better. Fix the leak. Or swim to shore. But don't call it adventure and act surprised when the water comes in. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. She pitched open to fix a stuck marriage. He played by the rules, told the truth, and fell in love. He didn't lie or juggle. He set clear options, close honestly or separate kindly. She learned that open isn't anesthesia for deeper work. He wins by refusing performance and choosing integrity, even when it costs the marriage. If you liked this video, please subscribe for more. Thanks and see y'all tomorrow.